Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
I speak from experience. Going out on your own, being an entrepreneur is tough. Lots of thinking, lots of hustling. It is rewarding, stressful. When you don't have the luxury of relying on a job or a corporation to help pay your bills, all of that financial stress falls directly on your shoulders. That said, so many people do it daily. Startup businesses, your vision, the grind to get it off the ground, constantly evolving, innovation leading the charge, your problem solving along the way. Someone locally who has done a great job is TV host Dawn Chubai. 23 years hosting breakfast TV in Vancouver, Rogers Broadcasting. You saw her as the anchor woman in 2007's Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. How cool is that? A couple of years ago, Dawn started up LiveSellingSchool.com, and it's absolutely crushing it. Resilience, passion, persistence. Great to talk to Dawn about shifting away from TV and launching her own thing. Get into other parts of her life as well, like binging Physical and Yellowstone, meeting Dr. Sanjay Gupta, the music of Chicago and Billy Joel, cooking to impress your dinner guests. The Easter Seals drop zone came up, so did concert tickets and the prices post-COVID, how crazy they are now. She shared a near-death story. And stop me if you've heard this before. Dawn talked about how she got her start working in media.
Oh my gosh, I fell into it. Right. Oh. I'm a singer. I mean, I don't really sing anymore, but I was born and raised in Edmonton and I was a jazz singer, released a couple of albums. The end of my first album, I was promoting my music quite a bit on kind of like, breakfast television in Edmonton, right? It was called Big Breakfast back then. And at some point, I would do my music there. I would sing there. I'd promote my gigs. The odd time, I mean, they really were great to me because they would sometimes send a camera out to my gigs, covered my CD release party and all of that. Anyway, at some point they kind of said, why don't you come and audition to be like, this is back in the day when you called it the weather girl, right?
Right.
Now, sure. Right. You're the weather girl and come and audition. Right. So I auditioned and I was not very good. I actually put that audition on YouTube just to kind of show that everybody starts somewhere. Sure. It's called Dawn Chubai Vintage Video, if anyone wants to look at it. And they, I'd just come back from Korea. I was performing in Korea for the Alberta Travel Expo, and I was representing Alberta along with Laura Vinson, who is an Indigenous group and dancers and everyone there. And I came back and it was the day after I returned. So I was completely jet lagged because, working on Asian time, then coming back to Canada. And I auditioned. It was not very good at all. They sent me a note saying, we're going to go with someone a little more experienced. I'm like, that's fine. You called me. I didn't even audition for this. I have a job. I was working in public relations for a nursing association. So, I left it at that. I, still obviously loved the show and I still knew I would have potential to perform and promote my gigs on the show. And I think it was about 3 weeks later. I don't know. It was a long time. It was 23 years ago. And they said, hey, you've made it to like the final 3. And I'm like, how did that happen? You told me I sucked. Like,
how bad were everybody else?
Exactly. And they said, well, we know you don't have any television experience. You didn't go to, it's NAIT in Alberta, but that would be like the BCIT, right?
Yeah.
And they go, we know that you didn't, have any of the education that other people did. So, we're going to spend a couple minutes with you and give you kind of like a flash course, right? I'm like, all right.
Wow.
So I came in and Obviously, it was moderately better, which I think would tell them that I'm trainable. Regardless, they ended up offering me the job. And let me tell you, and I don't know if anybody out there knows, I mean, everyone thinks media makes a ton of money. And let me just tell you, unless you are like a handful, especially local media, you don't. But it was a great opportunity. So they offered me the job. You're going to laugh. And by the way, nowadays, like when you do like a morning show, like you are hired typically as a full-time employee, even though the show might be 3 hours, right?
Yep.
It's not just showing up and, hey, there's my job. I mean, there's a lot that goes into being on television and prepping for shows, and it's beyond what people see at home.
Mm-hmm.
So they offered me what they called part-time, which I think was kind of, obviously a way to sort of not pay as much. But hey, I'd never been in TV before, especially like as a broadcaster. They paid me $15,000. I took it.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by the Home Dwell Group. Buying a house? Selling your home? Contact Kyle at homedwell.ca today.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Have you ever heard about the 19th century French actress with so many lovers that they formed a lovers' union? Or what about the Aboriginal Australian bandit who faked going into labor just to escape the police, which she did escape from them. It was a great plan. How about the French queen who murdered her rival with poison gloves? I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History. Every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know, and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts. And if you're curious, the people I was talking about before, the Australian woman is named Marianne Bugg, and the French actress was named Rochelle, no last name, just Rochelle. And the queen who poisoned her rival is Catherine de Medici. I have episodes about all of them.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.